also appears that that what we are doing with the new presentation and all its affiliated projects, that people seem to want to get only the outer benefits of it, and they turn their backs on the real stuff that is that would bring them spiritual freedom. I don't know. Just let's say one does a lot of good works, good actions, and all that. Would it succeed in getting one established in the East?
Everything equals something, Charles. So, I look at it like my construction business. And that is that when I, met the people, bid the job, I went out and did the job. That was my focus. Get that job done. No matter what, get that job done. I didn't tell them that, on the first day, usually my jobs are very short, 3 or 4 days or whatever. After the first day, I didn't say, well, gee, I'm really going to try and I hope I get this done. That wouldn't have sounded too good, would it? And so again, it's getting it done. The individual will know when it is complete. And the idea of spiritual freedom, okay, that's an old song, okay, an old tune. And guess what? There's no such thing. A person has to earn their way. And until you have the attitude that you're willing to earn your way, instead of looking for a handout, it ain't going to happen. That's all there is to it. This is a new day. This is a new novice. The boys, they've learned too. They've given a lot in the past, and they still do. And they will give to those, more than give to those that step up. And they see the intent of the individual. But if you're looking for a handout, good luck, because that's all you're going to chase. There's no free ride. It's all about you deciding to step up and be real. Very lucky that I'm here and that I've created these projects for people, because they're very important. Because again, they reflect and demonstrate something of a doing. You do something while you're here. And this is a physical reality, especially because the world is being destroyed. Watch and do it. So we're trying to do something, and it is try, because again, it's not easy. Just like what Val went through with the college. That's a great demonstration. But we don't stop. So we have a new position we've started, and it looks a little better. We'll see how far it goes, because again, it's free will. But you don't stop. The boys don't stop. You see, just because Joni took over Eckankar, do you think the boys, they just take off and go into the real universes and they're gone? No, they're still here. They're still here to do their part, because it's like an evolution. As they succeed, as others succeed, they succeed, etc. So, it's an automatic thing where you're automatic. It's like kind of like going up an escalator. You're in front of the next guy, etc. And when you reach the top, and then you're on that floor and you can do whatever. But in the meantime, while you're on the escalator, you look back at all the people in back of you, and you see that, you support them as long as you're on that escalator. But once it gets to that escalator and they've gotten to that floor, you stand at the top and you wait for them. See, then the people down below, you might say, we're going higher and lower here. They do their part, you see? See, they do their part, and to see that completed and whatever. It's very interesting how it works. Yeah, so the old ideas of freedom were just marketing ploy, Charles. All of them. You don't need them, but if you cling to them emotionally, you'll have nothing. Again, who said it? He who would save his own life will lose it. Very real. It's not about that. It's not about even considering anything but doing something. Step up. Share our images on Facebook. Have the intent to do that. Go out there and do whatever. Val and I, The other night we made some vote Revizar signs, and we went out and pounded them into the ground. I always like these fun little things to bother people. Yes, where all the election signs are on the corners and whatever. And he took pictures of them. He can share some here. Kelsey's got them. She can pop some into the thing here. So we did that. Just those funny little things, and then a lot more, everything. And then the projects that we have that we're setting up with the college and even with the water and especially what Claudia and I are doing that isn't really well known because, again, everybody's not ready for it yet. So it's not time for that. And so got many things going on here that are unseen, but I don't stop. It's 24 hours. It's 24/7. I don't stop. This is my only focus. There is nothing else. But again, this is my adventure. This is my love affair, etc. But it's not for everybody. Most people, again, they look at it mechanically. They look at it literally. And they're looking for, oh, gee, well, how can this work for me? And this is where, again, we've talked about, especially the Africans over there. They have a huge advantage with where they're at, but they just don't see it yet, Charles. They're not seeing it yet. That's why they ask all these questions. So, and this is where you come in because you have the awareness, you and Miriam. Miriam has the awareness too, and that is that, you're like management. You set up things for them to do instead of discussing the so-called situation or problem, okay? What you do is you set up a situation to where there is no situation or problem. You set up something, a project, to where now people are focused on that to, take part and possibly fulfill it in some way, but it will just keep going, you see? Instead of always asking the question, gee, why, where are the guides? Why don't I have experiences? And, how come I don't have any money or a new job or whatever? Until you do something, you ain't going to have it. Again, I had my own business, and the only way the business happened is when I did something. I didn't sit there and pray to God or ask the Revizar, okay, where's my next job? I never did that. I just do things. I never really ask. I really don't. What I do sometimes, and that is that, okay, I want this here. Okay, where is it? Because here's another project I've decided, and I want to get going with it. That's what I ask. It's like, here, I've already decided it. I don't ask them what the projects are. I see what's possible and what makes sense. Then I decide the project, and as it does, they back it. Okay, so this is some of the stories that Claudia has told on the real side, and this is where on the real side I show them, okay, I need this and this and this and this, and they go, okay, we'll get that. You see, they're like the mom and dad. They say, okay, we'll set this up, but it takes a while to come into the physical. So if people keep working off the same old ideas, Charles, which, again, everybody has to deal with themselves, it ain't going to work. So you have to start a new position. You have to start to see things differently than what the world, and it's not that, oh, we can't do this, we can't do that. You don't look at the can'ts. You look at what you can do. Okay, there's always another way. But it's going to be a toughie. Yeah, it's going to take everything you got, or you're just going to give up because then you get nothing. Yeah, so based off of what we've come to know as a reference, and it's more than obvious to me, not to everybody, but guess what? It ain't working. Oh, yeah, it looks like, oh, we just love our neighbors and we love this and that and whatever. Yeah, you do those things, but that's being a good person, being the good neighbor, being the good Samaritan like Mother Teresa and Gandhi. Again, Gandhi's Gandhi with the wind, and the thing is that, he's in the astral worlds too, wondering what the heck happened. Yeah, they didn't make it very far. Because again, that's something that you do, that sounds good, and yeah, that's needed, like the doctors and the lawyers and whatever, those things are needed if that's what you want to do. But I see overall the individual recognizing their real awareness, so they have the capability to deal with creation, cause and effect, and understand what's really going on, not according to these little parables and cliches that sound good. And it's, if you want to be popular and the good person in the neighborhood, go ahead. But the whole of life is bigger. This is where I put life before me. There is no me, I don't want to be popular. I just want, I just like the adventure. It's not about me being popular. Actually, I put everybody else out there, like Kelsey and the others. Like, These are the new kids. Hey, go to them, They relate to this. This is their time to do that. And myself, I just do what I do. And actually, I'm more inconspicuous out there. It's not about that. It's about what I do, not about what I supposedly am here in the personal sense. So again, all these things, Charles, that relate to the personal idea, they really do sound good, but the end result is you just get old and you forget that you're here, and they really go nowhere because life is awareness, and the isness, you have to learn how to allow that to be recognizable for yourself. That is the toughie, because there's you and there's it, and you are the decider. It isn't, because it already is. But again, everything is in the isness that you will ever supposedly need. Everything is there, but you decide how you're going to recognize that. And so you want to keep your both feet on the ground just here. You're the decider. You want to keep mowing the lawn? Yeah, you do that. But while you're mowing the lawn, you can start to work your way along to where eventually you don't have to do any of this anymore. But who can see past that? Who wants to do that? Because again, that's scary. It's like, well, what is there? The best part of life is bigger than the sky. It's the unseen part. But these little cliches like spiritual freedom, especially that word spiritual, okay? That's become a curse, really. And people think it's so cool. And blessings, these are all like little curses. They're like little needles, okay? Because the elites have taken them over. They market these ideas. They get people to agree. It's another form of agreement. And then they tap line them unconsciously. They use all these means. But for the most part, with what I'm presenting, they cannot figure it out either. So they don't have any connection there. They just can't figure out what I'm presenting. See, that becomes the fun part. So anyhow, that's the short end of it, Charles.
Yeah, Duane, thank you. Okay, we want to look at our Facebook activities and the support that they are getting. Do you think what we have on Facebook is presented maybe is the message somehow nuanced in order to conform to Facebook editorial policy, or the message is not what we do is not watered down. It's not what is on Facebook conforms to their editorial policy in such a way that they will not find fault with it for all time. They will not put down things, or they will not in future find fault with it, because our main teaching platform is Facebook, and to a lesser extent Twitter. So, what do you say about the future of this online education, which is on Facebook?
Well, that's an interesting question, Charles. And again, while we're answering these questions, you also want to focus on within yourself what your next project will be and how you're going to complete that. So well, I'm going to say this, and this is good, and that is that Facebook, because how they're set up, it looks like, oh, this is a fun thing, and it's something for everybody to have fun with. That's not the idea. The idea is to control others, and of course, they're going to find fault with everything. That's a given. I'm amazed that it's still there. I'm amazed we still have Skype because these things are marketing ploy that we're using. But it has become a comfort zone within certain people that, oh, this is really cool. We can do this, whatever. No, it's all a setup. They're going to find fault with everything. And that's a given. And what happens, again, that's free will. With what they decide, etc. And there is always funny things going on, no matter what people post or don't or whatever. See, your literal part is trying to, in some way, make things almost perfectly so that they're not touched or whatever. This is not what the world is about. That's like the mother deer raising the Bambi, trying to protect her in every way, but guess what? You can't. Eventually, the lion's going to get her. Okay, that's a given. All right, that's a given. And so is the mother. They're all going to be eaten, or they're going to die, either way. So, also, I'm glad you brought this up. The message, okay? We don't have a message. We're not doing messages. That's what Joni does, missions and messages and whatever. We do use those ideas, but actually what we're doing on Facebook or anything, etc. And I wrote a group on this quite a while ago and did some images with Ava. We're sharing, and you might say we're scattering around hints as to what is possible. These are hints, you see? These are references that are hints to something else. We're not giving a message. This is not a doctrine or a teaching, which I've said many times. No, you're thinking of doctrines and teachings, okay. And the old idea was spread the message of Eck. Yes, okay, I was there. We did those things. And we did this. We were good little altar boys and altar girls, okay. We did all that stuff. And that was the playtime at that time. It doesn't exist anymore. And so it's not about messages. We're not giving a message out there. We're giving hints. Okay? So you see the difference? And so the hint is that because when it's a message, people are taking it like, oh, well, Jesus said, or God said, or Harry said, or whatever. Oh, that's the message of the day. Here's your message. No, we're giving a hint because, see, that's literal. And that's conformity, that's restriction, and that deals with emotions and mind. No, we're giving the hints to your real awareness in the all is, and the real universe is. That's what we're doing. There is a difference, isn't there? You see?
Yeah, Duane, obviously there is. There is. There's this, you find that the new presentation, it has a message that can be very good for the rulers of this world. For the rulers of this world to know about it, and in fact to practice it, to put it into practice. So I don't know whether there's a formula in place. There is some means we can reach these world leaders with the message. I don't know how we can bypass their security systems, the masses of people who are protecting them. They choose what they have to read and what they don't have to read and all that. So I don't know. Is there a way that this message can get to the heads of state, the secretaries of state, and whatever? Because there's no more proper guidance than the new presentation for living a successful earthly life and beyond. So, does Duane know about some recall world leaders who are into the new presentation, who are interested in it, and how can it be enhanced?
These are funny, fun questions, Charles. Yes, thank you for being here. Yes, they are. First of all, there are no leaders in the world that you're referring to, mainly the heads of government and whatever. These are controllers, okay? They're not leaders. A real leader, which I call the new leaders, they would lead the individual to the all is. And what I've seen and experienced, I've met the top people in the world, supposedly, while they were here, etc. And you know what? They're afraid. See, Charles, it's not about they don't know about this. Oh, they know about it. Well, they do. Just like the president knows about the chemtrails and the HARP and the Wi-Fi and just everything else that's harming people in the vaccines. Smart meters. We just go on and on, can't we? GMO, tainted water, fluoridated water. We just go on and on. But the funny thing is they never mention it. They never address the issue. They never stand up to it and do something real. You know why? Because they're afraid. They're all afraid. This is the Twilight Zone. Yeah, very real. And they're afraid. So they pretend to be something else. That's what they do. So I know I've been asked before, and people have said, well, you know, you're going to do these concerts, Duane, and so, you know, I know this person or whatever, and, you know, they're in Hollywood and whatever, and, you know, they're famous and they can do this or that. And I said, you know what? I'm really not interested in knowing them. Okay? Because what? When we do the concert, everybody's going to come and see them, all the mindless people that just are into their mind and emotions, and they don't care about anything else but their next thrill. You know, eating popcorn and sodas and just leaving a mess. This is the people. I don't want to deal with these people. They can go to the rap sessions or those concerts. I'm interested in the children and people that are real and sincere. And yeah, that's a toughie to, you know, make this happen in this world. But again, no, these people are too afraid, Charles. They're just too afraid. Why do you think they have the Secret Service around them and the military? Do you have that? Do you have the Secret Service around them? Do you have military backing? Yeah. You know, the idea has been presented to the public, oh, we need these things to protect ourselves. You know, it's funny when you look at the birds and the animals. Do they have that? Do they have a Secret Service of birds and whatever? You know, they do maneuvers and tricks and whatever, and they're clever and they're aware, they use their instincts, and without harming others for the most part, unless they're confronted. Yeah, you see birds in the air fighting whatever once in a while, but for the most part, no, only humans do all these things. And only human people, or whatever you want to call these body types, worship gods, look to ideas, chase money, etc. You know, again, life's about awareness. So yeah, the world controllers, they are just too afraid. And also, again, we're not providing a message. This is a presentation. We're providing a presentation, not a message. And what we create creatively and cleverly, like Ava says, is we're providing hints. There's no message here, all right? If there is a message, okay, that's where the individual themselves must recognize what's taking place. What is the message to themselves? That's the real message, you see. But we're not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm just sharing, you know, just like I said in the beginning when I first started the new presentation, I'm sharing my real experiences with the real guides. That's all I'm doing. I'm just sharing. And this is a presentation. There's no message, it's no teaching, etc. You see, again, as we, you know, as we demonstrated and speak what this really is, it will become better understood. But in the meantime, it's being confused with the old stuff. So people are thinking, oh, you're spiritual, you're this, or you're atheist, you don't like gods or whatever. You see, It's all confused. So until it's it's presented for what it really is, then it's not going to be that. People are going to be confused. Well, they're going to be confused anyhow. So you can't sort that out because it's free will. But those that take the time and understand what it is, how lucky they are, because they will see that it's not the presentation. This is a hint. This is a reference. But it's the reality that we're referring to. And once you see that, then those individuals who do see it, they step up, and it's like, wow, oh, what can I do? You see? Yeah. There becomes a big difference. So again, getting to that point, that's huge too. So yeah, there are no world leaders, Charles. No such thing. They call themselves that, but they're fake. Just like Harry on stage. Is he a master? He's a master of deception. He stole Paul's title like Darwin did. That's all they did. I didn't do that. I didn't do any of that. I didn't take anything from anyone else. And they're masquerading. They're all masquerading as leaders that, it's the great future. They're like the statue of Lenin. Ever seen it? How he points to the future? Yeah, what he's pointing to is, look, everybody, there's your there's your future lifetimes. That's what he's pointing to. But it looks like, he's pointing, to the heavens or beyond this world or something great into the future. No, it only gets worse. These aren't leaders. These are deceptors. And no, they're going to have to have the courage to step up and find me. Yeah, that's the idea. I ain't chasing them, and I'm not concerned because for the most part, they're really boring. They really are. Trump's a good example of them, but most of them are just holding back, trying to look diplomatic, but they're all knuckleheads. Look at what they're doing every day. Look at what they're proposing. Look at what they're deciding. Look at the agreement they're getting. It's all demise. 100% demise. You can find that you want some good in it, go ahead, research it, waste your time. I'd rather present this. You see, there is a difference. We're wonderful and unique. I'm glad I created the wonderful worldwide educators. It makes sense in a senseless world. Yeah, have fun with that.